Hi. Looks like I'm going to college, right? This is so sweet. I'm Fara Sax. This is the Community Voice. Today, we're going to be talking about Florida families and how they can prepare for saving for college. Joining me today is its spokesperson, Briggle Fonts. Hi, Ann.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, I just love it. Bibs have come and gone and changed. And,
I know.
And you could just do some storage for snack time later.
Totally, just stick it all in there.
This is so cute. So the point of the story is that Florida Prepaid, we are preparing for our children to go to college at this age.
We are.
So tell me a little bit about the program and how it helps families grow into the program, how they get started, what it means for their children later on in life.
Definitely. So Florida Prepaid is the largest and longest running college savings program in the country. Just really incredible. It's a huge benefit for Florida residents that live here.
And it's been since
1987.
87.
Isn't that crazy? It's the year I was born, so I don't forget.
Oh my gosh. And it's really helped. I was reading 1.2 million families
Save for college
and send their kids to college.
It's wild. It has long-standing tradition and legacy. I was a prepaid kid, and now I have prepaid plans for both my kids, which is really incredible. So it's been for many years, huge benefit for Florida residents, and definitely want to talk about some of the advantages and benefits. But the main thing is that prepaid offers two types of plans: a 529 prepaid plan and then a 529 savings plan. A lot of people actually don't know that, but
let's talk about the difference. I think we have some role here too about the key differences between the two programs. And this is your website. It is myfloridaprepay.com, and there it is, serving 1.2 million families and counting. And let's talk about that prepaid program and the savings plan.
Definitely. So these are two types of plans that you'll see on our website. The prepaid plan is the one that most people traditionally probably know about, right? You're prepaying the cost of college. It's designed for Florida colleges and universities.
State colleges.
But it can actually be used anywhere across the country, and for private universities, technical and vocational. So a lot of people don't know that. But
and in my day, I hate when I say my day, when my kids were going to college, there were only certain universities that would be applicable to the Florida Prepaid that they were accepting. But now you're saying it's comprehensive. So tell me how that works in the state and how it works out of state.
Sure. So they're very flexible plans. You're essentially prepaying the cost of college university fees. Again, it's designed for Florida, but can be used at vocational, technical, out-of-state, private universities, even globally. So you prepay in installments, either monthly costs through a 5-year plan or a lump sum. Many different options there. And based on your child's birthday, it's helping you save in those increments. So when they walk down the stage at graduation and they're ready to go on to some higher education, you have all of that ready for them. You could have bought a 4-year plan, you could have bought a 1-year plan. There are many different options again, but that's the one that's really the traditional one of the tuition and fees covered with the prepaid.
And it's different. You obviously had them when I was just showing the bib and in the onesie.
Right.
You had that implemented for your children. I know for my children, we woke up late to the party, and we did it when they were like in their 2nd or 3rd year of high school. So it really accelerated what we needed to do. But there are plans for all of this.
Right. So the earlier you save, the better, because it's a little bit more digestible, the payments, and you have a longer runway to save for them. So my son's 3 and my daughter is about to turn 2. Just crazy. So we started little plans for them.
They're going to be going to college next week. You're going to see. You're going to be crying. Yeah.
It goes by fast, right? But probably not that fast.
It does go. The days go slow, but the weeks go fast, and the years go even faster. They fly.
That's what everyone keeps saying. I feel like I'm in the thick of it now, but I've been told that. But really, the earlier you save, the better. Can you save? Of course, you could save later and when they're in middle school, but the earlier you save, it makes it a little bit more digestible, the payments, and a longer time to kind of pay it off. So again, we have the prepaid plans where you could prepay the cost of the tuition and fees, or the 529 savings plans, which you'll see in the other box on the website up here. That's a flexible investment plan. So that allows for college and tuition could be paid, but other educational expenses such as books, laptop, even K through 12 expenses can be paid out of that account.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? That's something that would really be key to helping families move forward.
Right. So that allows for that different type of flexibility. So the prepaid is kind of the prepaying the cost and tuition. The 529 savings allows for the K through 12 or the other educational. A lot of people actually like them to use them together. So they want that really guaranteed prepaid plan that when their kid's ready to go, should they want to go to college or university or vocational or technical, that plan's ready for them. But they still, there's other costs for college besides the tuition, which is wild.
What is the cost nowadays for a state college in Florida?
It is expensive. I don't know the exact cost actually,
Yeah.
but I can get back to you with that number. But these plans were designed to be able to pay for that. So you're prepaying the future cost of that state college or university. There's different plans. You could either have a college plan or a university plan. You could even do a one-year plan. So some people that think this is unaffordable for them, they could just go in, use their pricing calculator on the website and say, this is more in our budget. We're going to start off with 1-year plan for my child.
1-year plan being a prepay.
Right.
Oh, of tuition and books, fees?
Well, the 529 savings plans the books and fees. The prepaid does the tuition. So you could just sign up for 1 year of a tuition plan and a prepaid plan and have that ready to go. I mean, that's an incredible gift to give someone.
Absolutely. I'd take it now.
Right.
And what happens if the monies are not used?
That's such a good question because I feel like that's kind of a myth. People are like, well, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that is not true. If you don't use it, you can get that money back. So let's say your kid gets a full ride scholarship. Incredible. And they don't need that money that you planned for them. You can get it back. You can actually transfer it to a sibling maybe that they have that's younger.
So you don't need to buy 2 plans, but you can buy one if one should be doing something different.
Right.
You get the money back.
Or you get the money back. So let's say you have plans for each one of your kids and they both get full ride scholarships. You can get that money back. Let's say they get a partial scholarship out of state. The money that you saved for them can go towards to cover the rest of it, which is amazing. And again, anything that you paid for that you're not using, you could transfer or get it back. With the 529 savings plan, another really incredible benefit, just because of new federal rules that came out recently, you can take that money if they don't use it and transfer it into your Roth IRA retirement.
So what does that mean?
So mama gets their money back in their retirement if their child's not actually using it. So let's say you had, for my son, for example, he's 3. Let's say I have a 529 savings plan for him and it accumulates to, if you put in about $25 a month, it could accumulate to over like $9,000.
Isn't it amazing how things can grow in small
little increments,
little
$25.
packages.
I mean, sometimes people pay more for streaming services per month.
And this is for your child's future or your grandchild or your great-grandchild or your nephew or
anyone.
Can you buy it for your nephew?
You can. You can buy if you're a Florida resident. You can buy it
so
and have a beneficiary.
That's
you have to be the child has to be a Florida resident or the person buying can be a Florida resident. So a lot of grandparents have been doing that, doing a little gift for their grandchild.
They get it back for themselves for their IRA.
Right, which is amazing.
That's interesting. And what are the current advantages for the Florida Prepay for price reductions? And what charges should they be aware of?
Right. I'm glad you asked about that. So really exciting this year, we did a major rollback. So prices have been the lowest they've been in 10 years. Everything else is going up, right?
Yeah, the cost of housing,
milk,
food,
eggs, tuition.
I went to the store. It was like $6 for a dozen eggs. I'm like, I'm going to go get those little chickens
and not even
put them
like
in
the
my
organic.
backyard.
Make a little chicken coop. I know.
I'm going to save you money. You can send your grandchild to college.
You can. So it's great. We had a huge rollback. So while everything else is going up, we were able to announce that prices actually went down. So 2 big points here. One, for families that haven't signed up, it's the lowest prices they've been in 10 years.
MyFloridaPrepay.com. That's
right.
MyFloridaPrepay.com.
So it's $34 a month for a newborn per month. I mean, again, it's cheaper than some streaming services, cheaper than people pay,
Going
definitely
shopping.
groceries, definitely shopping for a lot of their kids' clothes. So really huge advantage there. But then for current plan holders, so such as myself, I already had plans for my 2 children. A lot of people saw a refund. Some people paid off their plans earlier. So they might have thought they had 2 or 3 more years of payments, and then it was already paid off earlier than they thought.
How'd that happen?
It's great. So, Magic, right? I wish. Due to successive years of lower than anticipated costs for tuition, Florida Prepaid was able to come back and give families, that rollback and reduced pricing. So really, really exciting the way that they've managed this program, that they were able to do that for new customers and for current customers. Such a great benefit.
That is wonderful. And what advice would you give to families who hesitate to start to get college, early due to, the uncertainties that we just talked about and about their children's wanting to benefit their children's education?
Right. I mean, I was there. Look at these. It's like your baby's this big. They might be a tiny little tot and you're worried about sleeping through the night. And it feels like so many things, the list is so long of all the things and decisions you have to make for your kids. I'd say like college savings, it really is something you do have control over now. You don't really know what your kid's going to do, right? My 3-year-old, he tells me he wants to be an astronaut, and sometimes he wants to be Elmo. I don't know what he's going to do, but I have control
Tell him
now.
The astronaut is probably going to be much more financially sound.
Right, please. You never know. Right. Content creators and all this stuff. You could be an entrepreneur and do a lot of different things.
So if Disney is listening,
right? You have a little talent.
And Fonts is
Miami, Florida. Check them out. But it is daunting a little bit, like we said about the cost of how everything's risen, and you're thinking about them at this age, and college might seem like such a long time away, but it comes by really soon, so I'm told. But you can control now. You can save for them now. And again, it's not money you'll lose. Whether you use it for their college, you have that ready to go for them, and then you don't have to cover that later on. If they get a scholarship, you get the money back, or you can transfer it. So there's so many options for you as a parent, and it's affordable. It is. It might feel like it's not when you see these. When you hear about how expensive everything's gotten in college, but when you look on our website and you put in their birth date, you could see kind of the different plan options that you have available and fit one that matches your budget as a family.
And we're showing it right now, and it seems like it's very easy to navigate, and a lot of information there. MyFloridaPrepaid.com is a great way to get some more information. And I think it's important to start. I think that is the key to this, and to plan for the future.
Right. A lot of families kind of, they want to plan, like they want to have that security blanket and give their child something that they might not have had, or maybe they've been in student loan debt and they see what that looks like when you're paying so much in interest and so much cost. And this is such an incredible gift that you can give early on. And again, you don't need to pay off the whole thing. Maybe it's not in your budget to pay all 4 years of college or university. Maybe you could just start with one. That's such an incredible gift you could give someone, your child. And research is showing now that current students in K through 12, the best job opportunities for them in the future are going to require some level of education or technical training beyond high school.
So they're going to need secondary education. And that brings me to the point. If let's say you wanted to use your prepay for undergrad, could you use your prepay for future?
You can. I'm glad you asked that. Right. So let's say you got the full ride, for your undergrad, and you've decided you want to continue going in your education. You can use that plan for 10 years after you graduated high school.
So it can be post or undergrad.
Right.
Wow, that's really cool. And there are a lot of components that have changed.
There are.
The universities throughout the states are recognizing this?
Yes. So it's designed for Florida universities and for Florida colleges. So when you kind of go on that website and you put in your kid's birthday and they're showing you price options and plans, it's designed to be used around a college or university, what it would cost for their credit hours to cover a year, 2 years, or 4 years there. But they can be used in so many different ways beyond that. So your money will be used. Let's say your kid goes to a technical school or vocational school. The money that you put in planning for that college or university will just be used for the vocational or technical school of how much that costs. Might be a little bit more affordable than what a University of Florida or Florida State, were charging. And it could go towards there. Or maybe your child decides to go to a private university, in-state or out-of-state. The money that you put towards those college savings plans can go right towards that private, in-state or out-of-state. It just might not cover the full year, right? Or the full 4 years, if you had planned to cover that, just because the credit hours might be a little bit more expensive there, or they might be less.
But it locks in the tuition
right
of the year date that you do that.
Right. So that's the beauty of it.
So that's really the crux of this conversation.
Correct.
Because what it was when my kids went to college way back when versus what your little babies are going to be doing is a completely different price tag. So what we're talking about right now is you're locking in to 2 years rate whenever you started.
Right. You're
so
locking
that
in.
When they're 16 years down the road from here, kicking it down the curb a little bit longer, they will be going to college. And that price tag then would have been exorbitant compared to what you did 16 years previously.
You're locking in the future cost of college at today's prices. So it's really, really a benefit to start early, give yourself longer. And once you set that price, like you mentioned, it never goes up. So let's say college goes up. Let's say you lock in your price, you got your plan, you're paying your monthly, and college is a lot more expensive in 16 years than they thought it was going to be. Florida Prepaid covers the difference. Let's say prices have gone down like they did for successive years, and we're seeing Florida Prepaid did a rollback. They gave you the refund for what you put in.
But this is just for Florida state schools. This is not going to hold the tuition for other state schools that you might be applying this money towards.
So then it will go, so let's say your child goes out of state. The money that you put in for the plan, so what your plan is worth, can definitely be used, but it might not, depending on what their state systems, if their prices have gone way up,
right,
it might only cover a certain amount. Or if their prices are lower, it might cover the whole thing. So it kind of depends on what their colleges cost.
And October is a very special month.
It is.
You have a very special promotion.
We do.
And we have a cute little child going to pop up on the screen. Oh my God! How delicious! How delicious!
Those chunky cheeks.
But college savings work harder with tax-free savings. What's
right.
that?
So the really great benefit right now, before October 28th, so coming up really soon, is that if families enroll in a Florida Prepaid plan or a 529 savings plan, their choice, whichever one they want, they can get a $50 gift card. Good incentive right before the holidays.
Absolutely. Why not? $50 is $50. You can buy like a couple of chickens or a couple of dozen eggs, right?
Right, there you go. Right, exactly. So yeah, check out little baby over there. Really happy that you bought your kid his future.
MyFloridaPrepaid.com. Very, very sweet. And what are the other options that are available for families who want to maybe transfer their Florida Prepaid to maybe other family members?
Right. So let's say you had a prepaid plan or a 529 savings plan for one of your children, and they don't need it for whatever reason. They got a scholarship, they're not going to college. You can actually transfer that plan to one of their siblings, which is a great flexible option a lot of families don't know about. And if they don't need it, you also get your money back. One of the other incredible benefits I wanted to mention is due to those, federal rule changes, the 529 savings plan can be transferred into your Roth IRA, like we mentioned, the retirement savings.
Yeah, so if grandma or you don't want to do it that way, and so it's not taxed.
Right, and I think a lot of families don't realize that. I mean, I didn't. I was a prepaid kid, and I didn't realize that.
Did it change your life?
It really did. I was one of those lucky people that had bright futures as well.
Oh, you're one of those kind of kids, huh?
I was. So the prepaid really, I didn't have a full ride, but I had, some bright futures. So the prepaid helped cover the rest of it. So I did have a full ride between both of them. I'm the oldest of three. So it was incredible for my family that they had planned ahead, but then we got money back and it covered so many expenses that they weren't anticipating. Kind of think when you get your child out of the house, it's going to be less, but rent's very expensive. Eggs are expensive. Milk. If you're the type of parent that wants to give your kid, a boost up and help them, as they start off in that journey, which I'm so grateful my parents did for me, that money actually covered a lot of those costs that they hadn't anticipated. So it really worked out very well for us.
And I think on a level of finances, your families that you deal with, the families that you've served, 1.2 million families and kids sending them to college, what do you think that meant to some of those folks that wouldn't have had this opportunity, whether it be Bright Futures, which you mentioned, other scholarships,
Right.
Florida Prepaid, most importantly? How did that help them later on in life? What was some of the feedback that you've received or stories that you can share?
I mean, education is something you can never take away from someone, right? The opportunities are incredible. It also evens the playing field. You have the opportunity to go out there and have that training, have that skill set to achieve your career dreams. So right off the bat, you're giving someone the opportunity to build their future and how they want to. And really just offsetting costs of like student loans that have really plagued a lot of people and they can't seem to get out of it. You give them the gift of that education that you're prepaying and saving for them. It's just really giving them a leg up, in the future, and something that you can do as a parent, caregiver. And we've just received some incredible feedback. I'm one of the people that was benefited from that.
Tell me some of the feedback that you've received because of this, the Florida Prepay, and how it might have changed a trajectory of a young person's life.
I'll tell you, most of the families I speak to, and it's all different levels of parenting, right? The ones that started prepaid plans for their kids in 1987.
Don't date me. Don't date me. Don't date me.
Most of them tell me they wish they would have done more, and they wish that they would have gotten a dorm plan.
The dorms. I was like, the dorms at the last minute. We got the dorm plan. I'm like, oh my god. That in itself was like a killer.
It is. It's crazy. It's wild. And you're not really thinking about that when you get your kid, or when they're leaving the house, but you're like, oh, sometimes it's
more expensive. The street. They're going to sleep in the car. They're going to sleep in the street. They're going to sleep in the hall.
To sleep. Right. So it is kind of daunting to think about, but it is even more daunting when they're, walking across the stage at graduation, and now you're going to be writing the check every month. But yeah, I think overall families, the feedback we've gotten is really that they wish they would have saved more. They're so glad that they at least had something at whatever level. It's hard to think about that when your kids are young, but that they were so glad they started it at whatever point, that they felt like they could, but they wish they could have done it a little earlier if they hadn't. And that what it did for their kids is really, it's kids that have a college savings plans are more likely to attend college and be focused on their education, which is really interesting when you think about it. Knowing that that's there for them and someone was invested and believed in them and their future makes them more likely to want to do that. That's a fact. That's research. I think that's really exciting as a parent. You can't control a lot of things out there. You don't really know what they're going to be, what they're going to be interested in exploring, but at least you know that you've kind of planted that seed and set it up for them. So whatever they do end up doing, whether they use it or they don't need it, or they explore and decide to do something else, you've kind of laid that groundwork that it is the opportunity and it's there for them.
And I think as a parent, you bring to this such a personal story, whether he becomes Elmo or he decides to become an astronaut. Parenting.
Right. It's hard.
The most frustrating part?
I mean, the list is long. But
But you're still smiling.
Oh no, I love my kids. They're the sweetest. They're the best part of my day and probably the most frustrating part, right?
That's honest. 40 million people now know that.
Right.
No.
I know. But it's kind of crazy when you think about them. You're just in some stages of parenting, at least I feel like I'm a newbie still, right? My son's 3, my daughter's almost 2. But it kind of feels like you're surviving a lot of stuff. And like my daughter's still in diapers. We're still in the thick of lots of costs, but I know that we have a lot more coming our way. We're not even at the activities level yet and extracurriculars.
And what I find amazing is you're a woman that works. You're a woman that has a career. You're high-powered in your career. You're working very hard in making that. And then you have this other side that's children, that are these children. And I think this is what most of our community is doing, is balancing that.
Right.
And I think the Florida Prepay is really helping take off some of that burden for you and your husband.
100%. It was one of my most relieving days when we signed my son up, and then we quickly signed our daughter up right after she was born. It was a really exciting day for me because I knew kind of whatever happened with us, on our parenting journey, in our lives, like I knew that now my kids were secure. Like they're 3, almost 2. It's going to take them a little bit,
Not that
15
long.
years plus to get there, but that's going to be waiting for them because of the investments and what we did for them and saved for them now, and no one can take that away from them. I think that's a huge benefit, as a caregiver, as a parent, as someone planning for the future, that I can give that to them, and no one can take it away, and it'll be waiting for them.
Absolutely.
Should they decide to choose to use it.
Then you're going to be worrying about where they're going to go to middle school, where they're going to go to high school, and then
so many things.
And you're a local girl.
I am a local girl, born and raised in Miami and
You are very few. Let me touch.
We're not many of us.
Not very many. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Lourdes Academy.
Oh wow.
Yes.
And you grew up where?
I grew up in the Gables. So, right by University of Miami, rode my bike around there. And, I was a Lourdes girl and went to elementary school here. I loved it. So it's really exciting for me to have my son and my daughter now, we're like doing the school thing, putting them in elementary school.
Were they born in the same hospital that you were born in?
No.
Oh, that's like really strange when that starts. It's like, God, am I old? Or the pediatrician was your pediatrician?
I didn't have that.
You didn't do that?
I didn't do that.
Well, that's like a weird one for me. When I was like, really?
I actually know a lot of people that did do that, but yeah.
My kids and my grandkids, same. Like, what? That happened.
It's like kind of cool that they've been around that long and have so much experience.
No, a dinosaur. No, but there's something to be said for living where you're living, doing what you're doing, and really investing and being invested in the community that you serve.
Definitely. I mean, I think that's one of the most exciting things about prepaid. I actually had the prepaid plans before I spoke about them to other people. So it's such an amazing organization to speak about, because I feel like I am like the family that benefits from them. Like, we have the plans for our kids, and I'm so grateful that we're able to do that. And you can do it. I kind of thought it feels like a lot when you're like, oh, we're paying for something now that we're not going to actually see until they are.
You're rolling the dice. You're taking a gamble.
It feels like that, but actually it's not.
You feel secure, because how I felt with my kids. And then they went out of town.
And you never know what they're going to do. It might be Elmo. He might not go to college, but I know
Or he might go to the moon, and you won't have to worry. You won't have to go to college.
So I'm like, at least I have that there for him. But then we get our money. You don't lose your money. You have nothing to lose by saving now for that plan. What you do have is you lose time.
Right.
So if you don't start early, it's just, you can do it later on, but it makes it a little bit harder. So when we looked at the plans and we saw the cost, I was like, it really is affordable. You can do it. It's one of the cheapest things on our budget.
Absolutely.
To be honest. And with the recent rollback, it's $34 for a newborn per month. So again, it's just like, I pay more for our Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu streaming services.
It's absolutely true. So it's myfloridaprepaid.com. In the couple of minutes that we have left, let's talk about some of the resources and how people can access them.
Right.
We have the website that we've talked about.
The website is a great place to start. I think especially a lot of families probably have heard of prepaid. Maybe they'd had it and they're not sure they probably didn't even know we had the two different, 529 prepaid plan and the 529 savings. So
And a lot has changed.
lots changed with the flexibility and with how you can use them. So I would just encourage you to go to the website, check it out, explore, put in your child's birth date, put in your grandchild's birth date, check out all the different plan options. And if you're going to do anything, just spend like 5 minutes doing that, seeing what options are available, seeing what would make you feel comfortable within your budget as a family, and start somewhere. Like, you don't have to start all the way at the top.
Absolutely.
You can start at a 1-year plan. You could start with a 529 savings plan and just put what you want, when you want. Either one of those or both of those are just great options. You have something there, and then you can kind of build upon it, over the next few years based on your financial situation.
Is there anything else that you want to share with us regarding the plan that might have changed, or our audience we might not have discussed during our time together?
No, I just say I think huge benefits for Florida Prepaid are they're affordable, they're very flexible based on you as a family and what might happen, when your kid is ready to go to college. At the very least, you're not going to regret it. You're going to be really happy that you saved something, and your child's going to be really happy that you saved something. I'd encourage you to start early if you can, or start at whatever point. Go on the website, check it out, and if you do decide to sign up for a plan, now's the time, because not only are the prices the lowest they've been in 10 years, but they also have the incentive of the $50 gift card. So why not do that and have it in your pocket?
Absolutely. Ann Fonts, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure to learn more about how the Florida Prepaid has grown and is helping our community.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. Enjoy those onesies.
Oh, I don't think they're going to fit. And I want to thank you for joining me today on Fara Sax. Until next time, take care of yourselves